Hi, everyone. I'm Terry.
And I'm Ella.
Welcome to the Chasing Red Flags podcast, Let's Get Real.
Here, no topic is off limits.
And real beats perfect every time.
Welcome to the conversation.
Welcome to where you belong.
You're part of the family now, so let's get real together. Hi, Mama.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I can't believe it's already 2025. Like, I think it's crazy that Chasing Red Flags started exactly like a year ago this week.
It's so crazy and so exciting. And I just want to say that I'm honestly so proud of you, Ella, for being so open and vulnerable this year. You've gone out of your comfort zone and you've poured your heart and soul into Chasing Red Flags. And so I just want to tell you I love you and I'm proud of you. And I did get a DM, so I'm just going to tell you. It said, I feel like I was meant to find this podcast. So that's why we're doing it, right?
I love it. And I will say thank you because I know as much as like I've done what I've done, like you have carried so much of the behind the scenes while I have been in school because I am in school, I'm taking exams, I'm working on getting good grades, and I am just so beyond grateful to have you. And I just know that this year is going to be incredible and we have a lot of exciting plans and some exciting guests ahead. So I just really appreciate you being here.
I love you. 2025 is going to be our year.
Going to be amazing. And I will say, before we introduce today's guest, which I'm so excited about, we just want to say to everyone listening, thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate your support. And whether you're tuning in for the first time or you are a day one listener, please subscribe to the Chasing Red Flags podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to yours. And please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel to watch all of the episodes.
This episode is going to be packed with fun and plenty of laughs because let's be honest, laughter is the best thing for our mental health. We're so excited to welcome the two hilarious guests, the creative minds behind Lukewarm Takes.
And these two Penn State grads turned Florida real estate guys now are here to take the internet and their storm with the lukewarm opinions. And we are very excited to get real with them and why they started this and what inspires their comedy and honest opinions. And we are so excited to dive into some lukewarm takes of our own.
I need a little credit here because I was the one that kept forwarding you their lukewarm takes. And they're
I didn't know who they were before you.
And they're straightforward, tell it like it is advice, which you know I appreciate. So I'm excited to announce our guests today, Luke, Calannino, and Cam Wolf. Did I say that right?
Well, was that the right? How do we pronounce it correctly?
I've heard it's pronounced a billion different ways, and every way except for the way that my parents intended for it to sound. So I can't get too bad. It's also
I'm going to stick with Luke and Cam. How's that?
Luke and Cam, that's perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We are so excited to laugh and learn a lot with you guys, so we're very excited.
Well, please don't hold back. We're all about being real, and we just want you to be yourselves, no matter what that entails. So let's get into it.
I think you guys are biting off more than you can chew with that.
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Might not know what
you might regret it at the end, but we'll see how it goes.
Or listeners that are living under a social media rock who haven't seen your videos yet, what exactly is a lukewarm take and how did you come up with the idea?
I think I'll let Nino take that one.
Throughout the course of just college, high school, I was always very much into the idea, well, my whole life, just entertainment. I used to act. I used to do singing. I was in, a bunch of different extracurriculars. And I always liked entertainment. I grew up with a very famous comedian as like my mentor. His name's Jim Brewer, and I would like to shout him out. He's a very, very close friend of mine. But essentially, I always really liked the entertainment realm. And when I got into high school, I would do just posting stuff on my Snapchat stories. That's really where it got started. I got into college, and it was, just painfully bad social media posts. I started doing a thing called No Clouds, which I based a lot off of Brad Kraut, actually. I don't think a lot of people know that. Another huge inspiration as far as social media goes. But just a lot of painful content that I put out. And then one day,
you're going to have to find that.
I remember I was driving back to Penn State, and I had this like epiphany. And the drive back to Penn State from New Jersey is beautiful because it's just a straight shot. And you go through, mountains and valleys, and it's really spectacular. I remember at one point in the ride, I was like, I could do like hot takes with Luke. I was like, that doesn't sound right. And I was like, I could do hot and cold takes with Luke.
Hot and cold.
I was like, it's not hot. It's not cold. Lukewarm.
There you go.
And then I was like, and then it kind of just, it started to play out in my mind, and I was just like, holy shit, this could be something awesome. And so I immediately called Cam when I thought of it, and I was like, dude, I have this idea. I'm not even going to explain it to you until I get to school. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Let's go get food, and then let's just try it out.
I love it.
And we did, and we recorded two clips in our first 2 days, or in our first
day. Yeah, I think we did 2 clips, and then the second day we did a third video, and then
we did it third and fourth, I think.
Oh yeah, and
but the first 2, I remember up until that point, the most views I'd ever gotten on a post was like 1,000, and I would freak out.
Yeah,
right. It's like, holy crap. And then I remember, I think we posted our first one and got like 5,000 views.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, we made it.
It was at the time.
I was like, holy shit.
No, but same with us. That's a very big deal, especially when you're starting out like that.
Yeah, and it kind of showed, for me, it was always about the proof of concept. And like, if something was going to work, it would immediately work, even if it wasn't like groundbreaking.
Yep.
And then our third episode that we post, or our third, I should say, like post, was about fake tans. Yeah. And I remember the first 2 days, it got like 300,000 views. And Cam and I looked at each other and went, dude, holy shit.
We got something here.
We're like, this is really funny.
Okay, well, I have to ask, is your material based on like your real life experiences, or is there like a lot of brainstorming that does happen, or is it really more like the real life?
It's quite literally like we were talking about before. It's like, it's one take Drake. Like we never think about what we're going to say, which sometimes like usually gets us in trouble, because it genuinely is only things that like we've experienced in our lives. Like that's why we talk about it. And that's like, and the way we do it is like, so separately, me and Nino throughout the day, we'll just kind of think of ideas, whatever. Like whatever comes to you, whatever you experience in your daily life, you know, it'll come to you and you're like, oh, I think that would be a good video idea. So we don't say anything to each other. We sit down in the car and Nino would be like, do you have an idea? I'll be like, yeah. Or I'll be like, do you have an idea? I'll be like, yeah. And then the first time we hear it is whenever we're in the car. It's like when the camera's on.
I'm always laughing when you guys are laughing. Like it's so
I'm very
funny.
happy.
It's so good.
Okay.
But I
hold on.
You go first.
What's one thing that your audience would be totally surprised to learn about both of you?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'll say I would
These
go
are the
first.
mom questions.
Okay, you're gonna get some
I
mom
like the
questions.
mom
I'll go first because Nino's given like his rap about like how he's always been in entertainment. Yeah. I was quite literally the exact polar opposite. Okay. Like I have never been. I was always like a very small circle kid. Like I'd always keep a friend group of like 3 or 4 people. Like I never really was like trying to be like loud and like, you know what I mean? I would never like kind of say much. Always like very soft spoken. Kept to classes. I didn't do social media. I didn't do anything. Like didn't really do any of that stuff. And then Nino, like you said, was like going out and doing his own content for a while. He's like trying to do his own thing. And he asked me for help. Then when he first asked me to get on the videos, I was like so scared because I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I can put myself out there, like that whole thing. Because that's just never who I was. Like very introverted. Yeah.
Or it's who you were and you just didn't know it yet.
Exactly what I think it was personally.
Yeah.
A star was born.
I think you're a natural. So like there's gotta be something within you.
And Nino, I gotta say, like, you know, is always so supportive and like brought me out of my shell. And, you know, he was like, hey, like just hear me out. Just like, let's just try it. And I was like, okay. Because we would always sit and me and Nino, the way our friendship got started, we would always go and sit down and like eat lunch together, eat food or something. We'd have a class together. And we would have these conversations, and the whole time, like you were talking about, we're literally just cracking each other up. The entire time we're talking, like, just like we're dying in the restaurant, like whatever. And Nina, I remember, was like, if we could just record these conversations, like people would laugh.
I always knew, and it was funny because we would always say, we're like, everybody says that. Everybody's like, oh, no, our friends are like,
start a podcast, like, let's get it going.
Yeah. But it was almost like we knew.
Yeah.
Like we could tell because and so I'll kind of segue into the thing that I mean some people might know it's a little bit of a 2-parter for me.
Okay.
But the channel was created out of like pure depression on at least my side. I was in a miserable place for a really long time, and like that's why we ended up becoming very good friends. Is what Cam kind of alluded to is we had a class together, but every day after class I would go and we would both go to McDonald's.
Yep.
And we would just sit down and we would eat McDonald's, which is
favorite.
disgusting now, but
No,
like
Ella
terrible.
loves the
You
fries.
think
No,
about it.
I
We're
still
eating
have it. I love the fries.
every
I
day.
love the nuggets. I love the
Yeah.
McFlurries. Come on.
And listen, we don't hate McDonald's. We
No.
were big fans, but it was literally like every single day we'd go to class, and I was going through a very, at the time, difficult breakup for myself. It was something that I'd never experienced before. And just dealing with other shit, excuse my language, that happened throughout,
You're good.
just the past couple of years. And Cam was kind of like a therapist in that regard.
Yeah.
And we
I
would just
love
sit and
it.
talk, and we would talk about very real things that we dealt with, on a day-to-day basis, or just in, throughout college in general. We knew that we weren't the only people dealing with it.
Yeah.
And that was a
And
big
for guys,
motivation.
that's really unusual that you kind of are opening up to each other like that. It is.
100%.
So
So
I mean, listen, when
speaks to
you're
your
in when you're in a fraternity and you're surrounded by a lot of guys, and the culture is a certain way, and I don't want to say it's masculine heavy, because it's not always that case, and I think we're proof of that, honestly. Right. But you just, I don't know. I found very little solace in. Well, I found solace in very few people.
Yep.
And Cam ended up being one of those people.
Love it.
And that was a big thing for us.
Yep.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
All right, well, I have to ask, I assume that you guys, now that you're like very like going viral and you're on the up and coming, like I assume you get recognized wherever you go out. I mean, at least from me, like all my friends are like, oh my God, you're having Lukewarm takes on your podcast? Like, it's a big deal. What's been one of like the craziest or funniest reactions that you guys have gotten from like a follower or somebody that like knows you if they've seen you out?
Are you like, are
has that
girls
happened?
throwing their underwear at you yet?
Yeah, like
not
like
quite yet. We
and
haven't reached the
Okay.
panty throwing phase yet. We're
Soon.
getting there, I hope.
Soon.
But yeah.
Okay, so it's time to show our listeners the personalities behind the takes. Let's do a rapid fire round of questions. This is just a quick one. Luke, you first, then Cam. Okay?
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
I'll go. Ready?
All right.
Okay, if you guys could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Sushi. Immediately sushi.
Okay, I also would choose sushi.
Oh,
so
there you go.
That makes sense.
Worst purchase you ever made?
Fuck.
So many
bad ones. Going to
I knew
Vegas.
that question was going to be a bad one.
Going to Vegas was the worst money I've ever spent.
Was that senior year?
That was senior year, yeah.
I would just say the money I spend going out on a nightly basis, it's just not, it gets out of hand sometimes.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I think it's once you have a few drinks and you don't realize how much you're spending, and then it's
like all of a sudden I become Ellen
like,
DeGeneres, and it's just like not what I'm looking for.
Just you get a shot, you get a shot. You
just pass them out, and it's just not ideal.
No.
Okay.
Okay, what about the most embarrassing song that you secretly love?
I was listening to it today.
Dig a Little Deeper from Princess and the Frog. Or something from Mulan. The I'll Make a Man Out of You. I love that song.
Oh my God, I love that song.
I was thinking about that. I love Disney music.
You too with the Disney movies.
That's okay. I love all Disney movie songs. So.
Okay.
I'm going Home by Edward Sharpe and Magnetic Zeros.
That's a good song.
That's a weird
That's a good song.
Like
it's a little more niche. I will say it's a little more niche, but I do know it.
Yeah.
Okay. How often do you floss?
Every single night. Twice a day.
It's got to be once a day.
Are you lying?
No, very serious.
But I use the water pick flosser. I don't use like the
I've
actual.
been seeing that all over TikTok, and I want to buy it because I've heard it's better for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your drink order at a bar?
Jack and Coke or an old fashioned, but I don't like spending a lot of money, so I don't really.
I know you use old fashions a lot.
Don't call. You guys are gonna judge me for this. It's tequila on the rocks with a splash of lime.
Okay. No judgment.
No.
Yeah.
What kind of
I judge him.
That's fine. I mean, I don't love tequila. I've had bad experiences, so I'm more of a vodka seltzer with a lime. That's like my simple go-to.
All right. What's the best quality you bring to a relationship?
Oh, fuck.
I would say, genuinely, I will treat you like you've never been treated before. I would say that.
Okay.
Like when I tell you like the most traditional sense of a relationship, like I love like providing, doing everything, like making sure that like my partner has like, is like taken care of in every possible way. That's what I would say.
I'm goofy as hell. That's
Love
what I
it.
bring to the table. I
Because
just
you
I
need
just
somebody to
make
do
you
that,
laugh.
and you need somebody to make you laugh. So those are amazing.
Yes,
Love
combined.
it.
That's
Wouldn't
what I
that be
bring.
like amazing? Like a little
I
truffle?
know.
Okay.
Awesome. Oh my
Now,
god.
wouldn't that
Okay.
be fantastic?
Is that what it's
Maybe
All
not
called?
for
right.
us.
On to the
but-
next part.
Is that what it's called? A truffle?
No, a
Thruple.
thruple.
Okay. I'm
Truffle?
sorry, I'm
Okay.
old. Okay.
All right. Next. Last one. What is your favorite romantic comedy, if you have one? Or romantic movie in general?
What's the one like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Is
Yeah.
that it?
That's my
Yeah, that's a
favorite.
good one. I like that a lot.
I will say I haven't really watched many rom-coms. There are several movies that can make me cry. One of which is Ghost, and a little bit of an older movie.
Mom, you told me to
Big
watch
fan of
Ella's
Ghost.
never
That would
seen
actually I would
Ghost.
consider that a rom-com.
I haven't seen
It's
that yet.
it's not a rom-com, but Ella has not seen Ghost, and it's a great movie.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
It makes the top 10.
There you go.
All right, I agree. All right, now we're
like
going to
that.
dive into your lukewarm takes. Dating is
Let's
a
do it. I'm
topic.
excited for this.
Dating is a topic you guys talk about the most, so we're going to start there. Before we do,
Fantastic.
so we don't keep the girls guessing until the end, inquiring minds want to know, are you both single?
Oh, 100%. Single as a Pringle.
So what I'll say is I'm single, but I'm not looking for anything. Like,
Neither
Okay.
am I.
I'm not on the
we're both in
market.
that mindset.
Okay.
I would say.
So what I was saying is like I'm working on myself.
Got it. I love
That's
that
a
I
very
like
good way
that.
to put it.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so we're going to
Yeah.
leave it at that. I grew up in a different generation, obviously, and from a parent's perspective, especially with social media, dating seems incredibly complicated now. So I think we need to talk about it. So we're
Yeah.
going to focus on, as you guys said, the guy-girl relationships. That's what we're going to focus on
Sure.
here, because from your perspective, that's what you know.
Okay, so we had seen some of this before, but I want to like throw a few lukewarm takes that are just like on your way. So like I'm going to list some popular first date spots that the girls specifically want your take on. Okay?
Okay. Go
And you
ahead.
have to just truly tell us like what you think it means if a guy suggests these spots.
Okay.
Go
This
ahead.
guy's a specialist on first date.
All right.
operations. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie.
Okay. This is good.
Go.
All right.
Go ahead.
So first, miniature golf.
I hate it.
I'm a huge fan.
I
I'm
hate
a
it.
huge
Someone's gonna
fan
get
of
too
miniature
competitive, and then I'm gonna get the ick, and I don't
golf.
like it.
No way.
I don't
you're
like
saying
it.
That's
that shit.
valid.
No, Doug.
Because if you get upset
dude,
when
if
you
could
miss a
sink
2-footer,
putt, if you could sink a putt from
That's
15
attractive.
feet
but
away,
the problem
I'm like,
is,
oh
Yeah.
my
the problem
god,
is this:
have a
if
little
you
bit of
miss a
struggles.
2-footer and then you like throw your club,
Yeah, but I'm not
hit
gonna do
it,
that.
I'm
I
immediately
sink a
getting
putt.
in my car. I'm walking. I'm
Dude,
going.
I don't crack on
You're
pressure.
throwing
I'm
your
like
club
Tiger
at
Woods.
miniature golf? That's an anger problem.
No, well, I
I-
will say people take it very seriously.
People take it very seriously, and I'm not like I don't like competitiveness in that sense. Like if I'm on a
Okay.
date with you, we're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
We're not
the only
competing.
problem that I
We're not
foresee with
competing.
it is I might get a little too head in the game and just lock
Okay.
in and stop talking.
Yeah, and like forget that you have a date with
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Just be
And I'll
focusing on
just-
the golf.
Exactly. That's a
Okay.
very good way to put it.
Okay, I like that. What about a food truck festival, or like you're going around tasting food, hanging out, walking around?
That's a good one.
I like the idea of trying a bunch of different food. I like that
Yeah.
idea, but I also don't like being in like large crowds in a sense for a first date. I don't think it's very good for conversation, and I think that there's just too much going on.
I would
Okay.
agree. I would
Okay.
agree. I like the idea, though. I agree with Cam that I like the idea that you can see if the person's a picky eater. See if they're going to
Yeah.
eat a bunch of different things. Try a bunch of different things. Maybe I like the idea that you can walk around, kind of get a feel. But I'm the same way where I like being in public, but not in like a crowded environment. Public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable. What
Okay.
about a movie date?
Absolutely
No,
not.
zero.
Absolutely
Negative
not.
one
Wow!
out of 10.
Wow!
Negative one.
That's where you take someone if you don't like them.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
what do
Do
you
not
mean?
wanna talk
What are you
It's like,
talking
hey,
about in a
I'm gonna
movie?
Oh,
talk.
I mean,
all right.
I guess that's true.
So I'm gonna pick you up. We're gonna drive. We're gonna go to a dark room. I'm gonna sit right next to you and not talk to you for 2 hours. There's gonna be a lot of awkward touching.
Yeah,
on
a lot of
both
like
ends.
awkward
Like
hand on
where
the
do you
thigh.
put? Where do you put the hand placement?
Uh-uh.
A lot of awkwardness,
Over
and then we're
here
gonna
on the thigh.
literally.
Yeah, no,
then we're gonna
I'm-
leave the theater. We're gonna talk about the movie on the way home. Then I'm gonna drop you off and call it a night. That's not fun.
That sucks.
We accomplished nothing. Absolutely not. Do
Hate
not go to
it.
the movies.
One of, I would argue, the worst first date
I would agree.
location.
I would agree.
I think it's.
I would
I
agree.
mean,
Wow.
I agree.
to this
I agree
date,
with
we've
boys.
talked about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
I
think it's a
support
good
that.
idea.
Yeah,
What about a guy just taking you out to dinner?
I don't mind it.
Classic. It's a
But
staple.
Classic.
it depends on how it's set up.
I
I'd
agree.
say it
I
fully
agree.
depends on like the
It
type
depends.
of
And what does
dinner.
that mean?
So here's the thing: if it's let's grab Chick-fil-A and
No.
go through the drive-through, I don't love that. I don't love that.
I don't
think
like
it-
that. I don't think I would say yes to
No,
that.
thank you,
But I
Ella,
think a
'cause
lot
I
of people
wouldn't-
do
I wouldn't want
nowadays.
you
Is the
to.
problem?
People are
I
taking
think you have to.
girls on a first date to a drive-through at Chick-fil-A.
Like a sit
I mean,
down
I think the
dinner
bar's
is
lower.
nicer.
I think a
Oh.
lot of times the girls aren't even getting Chick-fil-A.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
very
talk to
true.
the girls
Wendy's-
right now.
Wendy's
Girls,
nugs.
if that's a first date and a guy's taking you on it, just say no, walk away right now.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, the problem is
I-
we joke about this. We've had listeners before when on some of our like videos that it's like they're happy that like they think like, oh, he wants to buy me food. Like that's like the bar's
Oh.
that low.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That
it
is,
is
like-
that low these days.
Set the bar higher.
Just him
ladies.
being like, hey, let's actually go somewhere. She's like, oh my god, like
Well,
really?
no, but okay. So once again, if you're gonna go out,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do the drive-through route.
Mhm.
But the problem today
No.
is,
Yeah.
and the way that I look at
Oh, we talked about this the other day.
it's so damn expensive to go out
Yeah.
This is true.
for a first date now.
This is true.
Like at a minimum, Cam and I talk about like what is the minimum price
Yeah,
of a first
You
date
expect.
now?
Yeah.
$200
honestly.
if it's
That's
a
crazy.
standard
Are you
date.
Where are
So
they
hear me
getting
out.
these girls?
I know because this
yeah.
is what always happens. People are always
We're
like,
gonna
"What do
break
you
down
mean?
the
What do you
math.
mean?" I'll break
Let's
it
do the
down.
math.
I'll break it down for you. Okay, you're both sitting down. Say you're both over the age of 21.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yep.
both gonna have what? 2 drinks during dinner,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Then
Each drink
Ella's
right now is
shitting.
$20.
Two drinks, she's out.
Yeah, I'm
She's
drunk, so I'm
Okay,
ordering
each
a
drink-
lot of
Cheapest
food
date
at this
ever.
point.
All right. Well, each drink is $20. We'll say. So you have 4 drinks.
No,
You're at
that's
$80.
true.
You're gonna have an appetizer. That's gonna be another $20. You're at $100. You're gonna have 2 main courses. Say it's at bare minimum. You're doing $30 a main course.
30.
Okay, so you're at
yeah.
60.
now you're at 160. Maybe you get a little dessert action. Maybe now you're at
$15,
maybe 180. Don't
175.
forget the 20% tip at the end of the night.
Tip.
Now you
That's
put over
expensive
$200
first date.
just for
You're
you guys
right.
to sit down and have a good time.
Yeah, and it's
I
not,
didn't even
and a lot of the
think about
times,
that.
right? If you are taking somebody on a first date, you're not sure if you like the person. That's kind of the whole point of the first
Yeah.
date.
100%.
So you
don't
might
wanna
go
spend that
on a
much
first
money
date
on them.
and spend $200 and walk away from that date. And in my eyes,
Really?
I get more pissed off if I took somebody on a date that I didn't have a good conversation with. We didn't click at all, and I spent $200. That's just going to make me not like them more.
More.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong about that. Maybe that's crazy.
I don't necessarily like. I don't
Okay,
agree
how about
with
this
that
one?
per
Come
se.
over to my place and I'll cook for you.
Love it. I'm all about that. I've cooked for 10 years. now.
Depends.
Okay, but
but-
isn't that like a vibe of like, okay, I'll cook for you and then we're gonna,
No,
like
my
that's
whole
the vibe
thing
that I
is-
get.
I think it depends on how you know them. First off, like if some guys just text you guys met off a dating app, and he's like, "Hey, come to my place of residence, and I'll cook for you."
No.
Then it's like I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. If you're friends or something, and he's like, "Hey, I want to show off my cooking skills," or something, maybe I don't
Okay.
mind it. But I don't love
Okay.
I don't love being in the house for the first date.
I
think that's just
agree.
too much.
We both pretty much unanimously agree
Yeah.
that anytime somebody says come over for
Yeah.
a first date, you have to set your expectations
A little
for
higher.
a specific
Got it.
Yeah.
regiment throughout the
Yeah.
night.
All right.
And that's a
Okay.
dangerous game to start playing.
Got it.
Okay. I like it. All right, wait, I'm gonna say some common phrases that like somebody might hear at the end of a first date, and you have to tell us what they mean from a guy's perspective.
Go ahead. I can't wait for this.
Okay. Text me
Common
when you
phrase
get
at the
home.
end of a first date?
Sorry,
Yep.
start again.
Text me when you get home.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's a good one.
That means that I actually care. I care about where you go beyond outside of my apartment. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it actually means
Okay.
something. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you're chill? I had fun.
Absolutely not block him.
Yep.
Block him.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
interested. Like
Block him.
4 out of 10.
I don't care about
Okay.
it.
Yeah. You're chill is a crazy no. Okay.
Your chill's crazy.
Let's hang out with some friends next time.
That means
0.
friend zone. You're out.
Yeah.
Friend
Sorry.
zone.
That's not
Okay.
a date. That's a
Now, if he says, "Let me, I want you to meet my
Let me
friends,"
meet your
different
friends.
story.
That's
Yeah.
different.
Different story.
But I would like that a lot better than let's hang out with some friends.
I agree.
Okay. We should do this again. I'll text you.
Probably means he wasn't that interested, but he's gonna keep playing the field. And if he can't have another, if he doesn't find another option, then he'll hit you back up.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's an
Yeah.
excellent
Well,
one.
I mean, I got these from some friends and from experience, so these are some real things that have been said.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, last one. Are you around this week?
Yeah, it's obviously the precursors. Let's set something up.
Yeah,
That's a follow-up,
but
right?
I think
Like, let's do it again.
I think it's a follow-up, but it all depends on their body language, metaphorically, in this sense of like how they act throughout the rest of the week. If they're being
Right,
distant,
if they're following
they start ghosting.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's
So
a big
before
one.
we dive into the next topic, can you explain to our listeners, especially parents who might not know this, what is a situationship?
Situationship, to put it as simply as I can, is you're dating but you're not dating. It's you're doing all the things a couple would do. Yeah, I know. You're doing
you
everything a
hooking up
couple
with
would
other
do, as in
people?
you're hanging out,
No.
you're hooking up.
Eh.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But it's basically you're doing everything, but you don't have a relationship label, and the majority of the time you're not exclusive. So
Yeah.
like you're still with other people, you're still
Yeah.
playing the field,
Yeah.
but you're treating someone else like you're in a relationship.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
again, still
very
confused.
well put.
But even to me, as somebody who's in this culture, like, that's still confusing.
It is. I think it's
And
confusing.
listen, the way that I like to put it, I'll try to make these borders a little more concrete.
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly what Cam said. You're acting like you're dating the person.
Yeah.
You guys hang out all the time. You guys are talking in a little bit more of a friendly manner than you would if you were just casually getting with somebody. But it's not exclusive. I think that's the biggest thing. You
Not
are still
exclusive.
entertaining other people, even if you're not hooking up with other people.
Yeah.
You're
can be
still
talking to other
entertaining the idea
Yeah.
of being with other people.
Okay.
And I think
don't
that's the big differentiator.
Got it.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Okay.
But okay,
Yeah.
so from experience and from other friends, like, I gotta throw out some of the classic lines that we have heard from people being in situationships. So you have to tell us what they really mean. Okay. Let's just see where this goes.
Oh,
Drop. That's the dumbest. That's quite literally. I mean, we've made translations like this in the past. Let's just see where this goes. Quite literally means I'm trying to keep this going for as long as I possibly can without committing.
Got it.
Okay.
Perfectly put.
Without committing.
Without
So there's
committing.
no commitment there. Okay.
Absolutely not.
I'm not sure what I want.
Hey, you don't want anything.
You don't want anything.
You don't.
He's
I don't want
No.
anything. Just take it as I'm giving it to
But
you.
even as two
Ella,
honest
no.
guys like you, what if you're being honest and you're saying, like, I genuinely don't know what I want right now?
A guy
Fair
knows.
enough.
No, a guy knows what he wants.
No.
In
He
30
knows what he
seconds.
wants. I'm with you. Cam,
I'm
we're
sorry.
on the same
It's
team.
so
See?
true.
No,
And there's-
I
no,
feel
now-
like that's
99%
really
rule.
true.
99% rule.
Okay, I would say that.
What's the
99%
99% rule?
So the 99% rule is something that we talk about a lot. In 99% of the scenarios, you're probably right.
Yeah.
There's always the 1-2% where
He
they
might
actually might
not know.
need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might not really know.
Girls,
he might not.
girls, don't wait for the 1%.
What about, you're so different from anybody that I've ever met?
You're not different.
You're not.
You're not.
You're entirely. You're blending in with the rest of the
It's just
crowd.
a line. It's
Just
just
a line.
Yeah, it's just a line. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, you can't listen to that.
All right. This one has been said a lot, especially I feel like with college people. Sorry, I didn't call or text. My phone died.
Yeah, so they were with someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and you should understand that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Their phone was on their nightstand. That's why they couldn't.
Yeah. Their
respond.
phone was
Not
turned upside
responding.
down.
It was
and
turned
they couldn't
upside
hear the
down
ringer.
on D&D,
Mhm.
and they got you back to you in the morning when they woke up.
Okay, what about, I'm not ready for a relationship, but I really do like hanging out with you?
Yeah, I'm trying to waste as much time as possible.
I don't always agree with that. I don't.
Me
always
and Nino
agree.
do have different opinions on that.
Yeah,
Explain
I have
to
a
you.
very different opinion on
Go
that.
ahead.
I was in that scenario where I wasn't entirely sure if I was mature enough or I was in a good mental state to be in a serious relationship. I don't know if I could entertain them and provide what I wanted to provide to a relationship. So I would say that quite frequently.
My whole thing has always been, if you're doing everything, if you're dating but you just don't have a label on it, like, literally, what are you doing? Like, why not just put a label on it?
Thank you.
That's
I'm with you.
I
that's
don't
always been my
disagree.
belief.
I think it depends
I
on the
understand.
timing.
Cam,
I get
we're on
it's
the same
very
page.
different nowadays.
No, but
You know
I
what?
don't
I
disagree.
appreciate
I
that.
think it does depend on the timing.
No.
Yeah,
Like, if
in
you're
college
just
for
getting
me.
out of something and then you're
Mhm.
going into something else, like, you have to figure that out for yourself.
What about
Mhm.
you're
I
the only one I'm
completely agree.
talking to right now?
You're not.
You're not.
If you were the only one, listen, if you were the only one they were talking to right now, then you would know. It's
Right,
that
yeah.
simple. You wouldn't
not
be
always true. I
questioning.
don't
They
agree
wouldn't
with
have
that.
to tell you that.
I don't
You
agree
wouldn't
with
be
that, actually.
confused.
You wouldn't be.
I personally, I don't agree with it. I disagree.
Why?
I don't want to elaborate too much because I don't want to belabor the point. But I do think in specific situations, you might not be prepared to jump into a relationship as with me. I always say I'm not a firm believer in the right person, wrong time, but I do think that you could find somebody that you really like, but you're just not prepared to be that serious.
Cam, we're on the same page.
I know.
Okay, well,
I
I
get
don't
it.
disagree, Luke, at all. So
I like
there we
the
go.
difference
Now
here.
it's 2 and 2.
Listen,
It's
there's a
perfect.
reason we're on
with
the
each
right
other here.
sides.
Okay.
I
Okay, so
appreciate
that
it.
makes sense. All right, well, now that we've decoded some of like the classic situationship lines, switching gears, diving into some common things that guys say that can send a lot of mixed signals, which happens a lot. A lot of our listeners, me included, have heard these lines, and these are just some more ones, so you have to tell us again what they really
Just
mean.
straightforward answers.
Sure.
Straightforward.
Go ahead.
I'm not ready to be Instagram official.
I have other people I'm talking to.
Yep.
And you will get a hey girly text if you post me.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
The hey girly text, I've gotten that before. Don't get me started. So, okay. What about you're overthinking this?
I'm gaslighting you.
I'm gaslighting you. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Well, honestly, that does depend. I don't want to. That's a blanket statement. So sometimes, like, you really,
rule again.
yeah, I'd say 99.
95%.
But 99%.
99 is a good percentage, boys.
That one I'd go 50-50. But all right, we'll go. We keep going.
That's fine. 50-50 is okay. What about you deserve better than me?
This is literally, I want to end it with you, but I don't want to be the bad guy. So I'm trying to say, like, oh, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you deserve better.
Classic.
So I'm not the bad guy.
I'm
scapegoating. You are the bad guy. But you are the bad guy.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
You're scapegoating.
She's just a friend.
Okay. This one,
Short and simple.
Short and
3
simple.
words.
You go.
Could be a friend, probably not.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the best way I can explain it.
Okay. That's
That's like the 60-40 rule.
60-40. Okay, not 50-50, 60-40. Okay. And I hate to say this one, but I have to ask. It's not you, but it's me.
No, it's you.
It's you.
Yeah,
it's me.
It's definitely you.
Yeah.
It's always you.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a tough
well,
one.
I will say, I think, like, I hope you guys understand, like, truly from a girl's perspective, how much mixed signals can make us feel, like, so much shame and humiliation, which is, like, the worst thing ever. But I'm gonna embarrass myself. So I'm just gonna say it here. For 4 years, and I would say about 4 years into my relationship, I actually texted my ex a list of 10 things that I needed from him. Yes, it's pathetic. I know. I see the look. And that includes.
No, it's not.
No. Wait till you hear what they included.
Yeah,
though.
I need a little more context.
No lying.
This is 4 years.
No cheating. 4 years in. No lying. No cheating. Take me on a date once a week. And don't be snapping or DMing other girls. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was doing. It was. I can't explain it. But I would just say I even ended it with. Are those things that you can give me? Yes or no?
What did he say?
Of course.
He said yes, and then he didn't do any of them.
Yeah, of course. So you're asking for the bare minimum.
Yes. And that's like now I'm realizing that, but like girls take it from me, if you have to ask the guy for the bare minimum, then he's not your guy. Am I wrong?
The only thing I will say about the list thing, you have to be careful because a lot of people love very differently. And it's a lot of times when you first start a relationship, I think it's completely acceptable to give a list or like have a conversation. Be like, look, if we're gonna date, I need this. These are my love languages. This is the type of relationship I want.
4 years in is crazy.
Well, no,
I mean, also
was
having a list about the bare minimum. Yeah, the list of the bare minimum.
Yeah, my list may have been crazy.
The list is crazy.
But lists in general, I don't think are crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I think
that makes me feel a little
You
better.
should not have to ask for one single thing on that list. That's a given. If you're dating someone.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
no lying, no cheating, no trying to hook up with other girls. That's bare minimum. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is bare minimum.
But if the list is a little more in depth than that and you're talking about other things, like that's very different.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and it also depends, as Cam said, on the timing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we've
at the
covered
beginning,
the
if it's like, hey, I need reassurance. I need, I need reassurance from you.
100%.
this the type, I need when you go out, I kind of want updates, blah blah blah. Like those type of lists are
Totally
completely
acceptable.
valid.
Oh, Cam and
Yeah.
we're really on the same page here. All right.
We're vibing.
We are vibing. So we've covered the signs that he's just not that into you. But now let's
Okay.
shift to what it looks like when a guy is into you. As a mom, I always tell Ella it's about the little things. Am I right? There are little things that you
Right.
guys can do that give them signs, right? So let's break down a
Right.
few things that guys say or do when they're into someone, and you tell me what they mean. If he shares
ahead.
his favorite songs,
If they do mean
if they
it.
do mean it. If he shares his favorite songs or playlists with you.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a music freak, so I always say
yes,
if I
I
share
love
my
it.
music taste with you, like if I share my music taste with you, immediately I'm trying to connect with you on a level deeper than just shallow conversation.
Right.
Great. Okay. If he sends
like
a
that.
I'm just thinking about you text out of nowhere.
I love that.
I like it
like
if it's
that.
genuine. If it's genuine.
Genuine.
Okay.
How do you know if it's genuine or
You
not?
don't.
That's the problem.
You don't.
If
he
it's
makes
followed up by a like, can you come over? Like,
Yeah.
That's how you know if it's genuine.
Right. Okay. If he makes an effort to introduce you to his friends.
We always say that's important.
If you meet my friends, you're meeting the council, and if the council approves, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna end up being
Then
my
you're
girlfriend.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he goes to the bathroom and says, hold my phone, and gives you his unlocked phone.
That means either that is if he's doing that 90% of the time, he's cleared everything off that thing. He wants to say, like, yeah, go look at it.
Like,
I
show
promise
it,
the
yeah.
search history is cleared. Browse everything's
Oh,
gone.
that's so sad.
It's hard to hide, but I personally think it's the biggest sign of trust.
Yeah,
I don't
of
even
course.
hand my people my unlocked phone,
That's
and I
what
have
I-
nothing to hide on there.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's a
Okay.
huge sign of trust.
It is a
If
good
he-
sign.
Okay. If he asks you your opinion on something to buy that he wants to buy.
It depends.
I don't think that's that. I mean, if he thinks you have really good style, then I think it's completely
that's
acceptable.
where I was going.
You know what
I think it depends on what I'm buying.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
What if he's like, oh, I'm buying this for my mom. Do you like it?
That's good. That's a
Yeah.
very good
Okay.
sign that
Okay.
For
And if he
the
texts
important
you
people.
first thing in the morning or he says goodnight.
Don't look too deep into that.
I was about to say that.
I would say that it's very nice, and I think it's a nice thing to do, and that's something I've done in the past. In relationships, I think it's a great thing to do. But don't dig too deep because it's not that big of a deal. It could just be I'm going to sleep. I'm just like, hey, good night. That's not.
So
that
the
big.
bottom line is good night and good morning texts mean more to girls than they do to guys.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yes.
Because girls take them very seriously.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, because the problem is that I don't want to. I'll talk quick here, but the whole thing with a good night and good morning text, that's a risky thing because once you start that,
You
the
can't
day
stop
it
it.
stops, you can't
Yeah,
stop
it's
it.
like
Or
you're
the
gonna-
problem is
Mhm.
the good morning text. Say you go out on Saturday and you hit them at 2 p.m. Good morning, or you hit them at 5 a.m. Good night. It could be it could be a little
Yeah.
rough.
Excellent.
That's why.
Cam
Just
is
be
on the same
careful.
page again.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm with you.
All right. Well, transitioning into social media. Just
Sure.
because we know that in the world of dating, when somebody does something online and they can just say a lot about what they do. So if his entire feed while you're dating is Instagram models and OnlyFans and girls in bikinis and you see him scrolling, what does that mean if that's your boyfriend?
Absolute red flag because that's the algorithm. That's stuff he's liking.
Okay.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
What about him liking your posts but not commenting?
Not as heavily weighted. Guys do not look at comments in the same way that girls do.
Right.
If you
I
ever
was
look at a
gonna
girl's
say that.
post, 100 comments, guys, not the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, valid. What about if he suddenly follows like a bunch of new girls at the same time?
Biggest red flag, I think, with
I agree.
social media.
I
That
agree.
means he's looking for other people actively, and you
Yeah.
should not be.
I agree.
Like all at the same time.
I agree.
There's no
Yeah.
reason. I'm so sorry. There's no reason to be following like new girls in a
I
relationship
completely
if like
agree.
you're with. I'm
Especially if
sorry.
you're dating
And,
somebody.
especially if you're dating. There's absolutely no excuse.
Yep.
Okay. What about a DM that's just like, what's good?
If your boyfriend's DMing another girl while you're together, you should not be in that relationship.
I agree entirely.
What about tagging you in like random memes or like funny things on Instagram?
That's
That's
huge.
very cute.
Green flag.
Huge.
That means he's sharing the sense of humor, and
Yeah,
that's a big
100%.
deal.
Okay. Like he wants to share what he finds funny to like the person
Right.
that he's with. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I have one, I have to give a little quick Terry talk. I think
That's what they're called.
sorry,
Terry
that's what we
talks.
call
Okay.
it. Yeah. So we've got lukewarm takes, we've got Terry talks. I think a man who is truly crazy about you never leaves you feeling confused. And I think you keep saying, oh, 40%, 60%. If a girl is confused about how a guy feels about her, he doesn't like her that much. Because a guy wouldn't leave you confused if he really liked you. He'd want you to know. I'm just
I
saying
completely agree.
I agree.
And with the 60-40 rule, I don't say that as like, oh, 60% he's going to be, like you might think 60% he's into it. I'm saying in 60% of the scenarios, you're going to have a way where a guy treats you and you're going to immediately know. And it's one or the other. And then the 40% is like it probably isn't happening, but it's more breaking it down that way.
So my message to the girls is if you are confused, he doesn't like you that much.
Okay,
I agree.
What's your message?
Sorry,
my thing has always been in terms of like talking about relationships and anything. If that person really likes you, I've always been the type of person when it comes to relationships, I will know if I want you like pretty much almost like instantaneously, and I will make it so clear that I want that, and I'll go and like I'll chase like. That's how guys are. Like we go and get things. Like we get things done. Like we go chase things down. Like that's how we are. And if we really like you and we really want you, like nothing's gonna stop us from getting
doing that.
I completely agree.
Girls, you heard it from them.
I know.
Okay,
I like that.
So a lot of girls come to me for Terry Talks when they need advice because I tell it like it is, just like you guys do. So I've heard a lot of the classic breakup lines. I'm going to say a common breakup line, and I want you to tell me what you think it means.
I don't know if I've heard these, so I might adjust them.
I think we should take a break.
Breaks don't exist in relationships. If you want to take a break, we're breaking up.
I need to concentrate on work and going to the gym.
Ugh.
He wants to concentrate on anything but you, and he's using those two things as an excuse.
If you don't have time to prioritize someone in a relationship, you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Yeah, you have 2 hours. It takes an hour to go to the gym every day. If you can't find a way to skip that, squeeze that in your schedule.
It just
it's not that hard.
It just doesn't feel the same as it used to.
Fair enough. Sometimes it sucks to hear, but
I'd rather have you be honest and say that than like lie and continue in the relationship.
You
because
deserve
then at least
someone
you can come
better
up with
than
a
me.
plan.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, you deserve someone better than me. That's quite literally just scapegoat. Same thing.
I agree.
Right.
You think?
Completely.
Yeah. So
If
this might piss a lot of people off, but to me, every single one of those lines screams, "I don't want to be with you." That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's straightforward. I had a college
I agree.
boyfriend, and he said to me, I just want to sleep with a lot of girls in college. I met you freshman year. It was too early. And you know what? We're still really good friends, and I totally respect him. He didn't leave me confused. I wasn't like, he likes me, he doesn't like me. I knew he wanted to sleep with a lot of girls. I got my answer. It wasn't necessarily about me. That's what he wanted to do. I think if guys were just a little more clear, there was no mixed signals, I respected that.
But I think girls are also giving a lot of mixed signals today too.
That's
so let's
That's
see both sides of the coin.
Absolutely.
You can call us out. That's totally fine.
Absolutely.
I don't disagree with that.
So speaking of mixed signals, we've heard you mention the post-breakup zen. What does that mean?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I like this one.
Post-breakup competition or?
No, post-breakup zen.
Post-breakup zen.
Yeah, so it's like the period after a breakup when you actually go through the breakup and you deal with the trauma, you deal with the breakup in a healthy and, the way that you really should deal with it. Mm-hmm. And the other person doesn't do that typically.
Yeah.
One party is always going to be dealing with it healthy and the other person's not. And once you finally deal with it and you figure out your emotions, you understand what happened, that zen is the most incredible clarity.
Yeah.
And you're able to see what you did wrong, what they did wrong, why the relationship ended, and then reflect on all three of those things.
Speaking on just like breakups in general, I know that breakups might feel like it's the end, but I will say exes have a very funny way of popping back into our lives. I know. I've experienced it from the laughs. I assume that you have too. Sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even years later. So I just want to dive into some text messages or things that just like come out of nowhere from an ex. Because I will say we all probably know the type. So what does it really mean when they send these texts? So if you get a text that's saying, just checking in.
That's just I just want to pop up in your life so you can't forget about me.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I've changed, but I'm not the person that I used to be.
No, you haven't changed. That's bullshit. You're just trying to masquerade that to have any. You're Trojan horsing the fact that you're just trying to get back in and ruin
If you actually changed, you wouldn't have to say that. You would show them that you changed.
Exactly.
You would show it.
Cam.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Okay, what about happy birthday?
This is the toxic way of sliding back in because there's nothing bad you can say. That's just they're trying to slide back in, and that's just you can't be mad at it because like they're wishing you happy birthday, so that's why.
Okay, I've gotten this one. Do you want to grab coffee over break and catch up?
No. The answer is no. I don't want to grab coffee, and you're using a seemingly Trojan horse scenario to try and get back into my life. You're trying to disguise it as something else, when the reality is you're probably just popping in to try and get back.
That's a 99.1% rule.
What about nobody else can make me feel the way that you do?
I mean, that's just if you believe that, I don't even know.
It's just like
because if you made them feel that good, then it never would have ended.
Bam
is the answer.
I like that too. All right, and this is just like the classic, just random text. I miss you.
Maybe they do.
No,
they probably do.
Maybe they do miss you.
That's
but
not
once
her
again,
problem.
what are you going to do about it? If you really miss me
doing
that
for you?
bad, your actions would show that you miss me, and you wouldn't, to Cam's point before, have to text me that.
No, I kind of like what Tara is saying, where it's like, hey, like, you know, maybe you do miss me. That's not my problem. Sorry.
Not my problem.
Yeah.
Show it to me instead of just telling it.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
So since Valentine's Day isn't necessarily too far off, and I will say this is my favorite holiday. When I was home, Mom, like you literally used to decorate the entire kitchen with like hearts and Valentine's Day. It was just like my favorite.
Heart pizza every Valentine's Day. Big heart pizza delivered to my house.
I love it.
Just saying.
Okay, but we could use your help in this way of like breaking down what it really means when a guy does like certain things or gives specific gifts like towards like Valentine's Day.
This is a lukewarm take.
So the girls know what to expect because it is coming up. What if he gives you like a card from CVS and a stuffed animal?
This is my problem.
What's on the card?
Yeah.
Did you write a little hand note?
Hand note.
What if it's just, okay, so two different versions. Happy Valentine's Day, love blank, or like a nice written few sentences.
I think the nice written card is honestly very sweet. I love getting love letters. I think that's like the
I love a
sweetest
handwritten
gesture.
card. It's my favorite thing.
It's Ella's favorite.
I love it. So I'll say that for me.
I don't know, dude. For me, this is difficult because any kind of gift giving for me shows effort, and I think if you're going to the point of, hey, I'm gonna purchase something with the thought of you in mind, that automatically to me means you care.
I agree.
I like that. I like that response. Okay.
What about any sort of like jewelry?
It depends. Earrings, fair enough.
A necklace, a bracelet, something like a ring.
If it's personalized, I think if it's personalized, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree with the personalized, where it's like maybe you were asking for something, or maybe you were telling him how it's like, oh, I'm a gold girl, and I've been needing a new necklace or something, and like he listens to you and then gets you that, then I think that's great.
Excellent.
Okay.
Very well.
Just like flowers in general for that.
That's fantastic. I've said this before. I'm always a flowers guy.
I love flowers. I'll take flowers.
Yeah, of course. I'll always do that, and I think it's a great gesture.
Okay. If they know what kind of flowers you like, what if they get you flowers that they know you like? If you tell them your favorite flower and then you give them like a random kind that isn't their favorite.
Well, I think we should appreciate it either way. I don't think it should be like, like he gets you roses.
Like together.
Yeah, but I'm still saying he gets you roses and you're like, I like daisies. Like, all right. Like,
all right. Let's be a little thankful for that.
But I am definitely on the side of if they know what kind of flowers you like, they should kind of cater that towards what you like, because that shows once again the intention.
Luke's team here. Nino, you're
Yeah, like that shows
I know.
the intention. That
Okay.
shows
that's
the thoughtfulness.
that's a double. That's I
them.
Only
really thought
because
about
it
you.
shows that they're truly listening to
Right.
you.
Exactly.
It's fair.
And like what
Mhm.
they're hearing what you're saying.
Yes.
It's fair.
Okay. Taking you out and making a reservation in advance.
I mean, I don't think that's that big of a deal.
Base level.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
pretty much bare
Really?
Bare
minimum.
minimum,
There.
Ella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
need
You
to
need
get
to
this
up
in
your
my
bare
head.
minimum, Ella.
All right.
Yeah.
I hate the social media shit, but like if he's posting you on social media for Valentine's Day.
I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's great. I think the way it works is this. I think guys, a lot of times you don't think it's a big deal for girls. I think if a guy can recognize, hey, maybe I don't post on social media, but I know this would make her week. And I
Happy.
think if
Yeah.
you do it that way, I think, that's all it is. Where it's like, is it really going to kill you to post a little photo, post a story? Like, that's going to make her day. So you might as well
Like,
do it.
why is it
I
the
don't
worst
know.
thing in the world?
This is one of those things that I could literally talk for 5 hours on, because this
Okay.
boils into the whole idea of how social media has changed the dating
Right.
world and
Totally
just
changed it.
the way that kids interact with each other. And I think
Yeah.
a new way that people are showing their affection is that hard launch, where they are posting you on the Instagram, maybe as a meme post or a story post, because that in a way is like, hey, we're actually serious, and I'm going to let everybody that follows me, all 1,000 people, whatever it is, and they're all going to know we're together.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
That's
that's
and
very
that
valid.
seems to be, and again, I'm an adult and don't do that, very meaningful to young girls. Is
That's
that
Oh my god, I used to be the happiest girl in the
because
world
it's
if I
saying
go
to
to
all the
Valentine's
other
Day
girls that
post.
someone follows, like, I'm taken.
Yeah.
So that's
Or
Exactly.
even like a National Girlfriend's Day, or like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those kind of
Yep.
vibes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, all right, and I hate to say this, but I have to ask, like, if he does nothing at all, but he just says like Happy Valentine's Day.
Love language.
I think it's a red flag. I think
It's
Yeah, I
not
agree.
that like
I agree.
it's
Okay.
not that hard. Like every guy knows, it's like that's the bare minimum.
There's
It's like, at least get
something
some
you could be
flowers.
doing.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
anything above just saying happy.
And I think
Valentine's
Nino's right when he talks about the love language. Where I know you were talking about social media earlier, but say he doesn't give you a social media post, but he goes all out. He makes reservations. He gets you flowers. He gets you, a handwritten card. He does all of that.
Balances
Then
out.
it's a give and take. It's a give and take.
Some kind of celebration.
Yeah.
Above the simple happy Valentine's Day.
Right. I don't think a
So-
post on social media though is everything. I think a lot of girls think that.
No, I don't disagree. I personally would rather have somebody like take me out or like make like a homemade dinner or like something like that than post me on social media. But if there's like absolutely nothing besides like a text, then like that says a
I
lot.
also think the social
I also think
media
that's the
for
bare
some of
minimum.
these women become the social media becomes more important in the sense if you don't trust the person you're with or you're nervous about their history with
Because you
girls.
want everyone else to see that you're together.
So, and that's a red flag
Well,
to me right there.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. If you think just because if he posts you on social media that he's not doing anything behind your back, that
no, that's not
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
I think
that's
Ella
something
knows
you got
that.
to think about.
The problem that I have there, though, is, and Cam and I talk about this all the time, this is our golden rule, and we say this nonstop. If you have any inkling that you don't trust this person, I don't think you should be in the relationship at all.
100%.
Right.
No doubt. If
Right.
there
Like
is not trust,
any
there is
lack
no
of
relationship.
trust, it's
I
like
agree.
it's like a little tear in a seam. It's just going to keep opening
Well, it
up the
just breaks,
longer
yeah.
that the relationship goes.
Yep.
100%. So, as you know, dating can be full of red flags that you only spot later on in the relationship.
Yes.
So,
Or like me, you ignore them and you start from like the start and you regret overlooking them.
so
Because that's
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you guys got that in common. That's very true. We're going to share some funny confessions that a girl might say, and she might hide early on. And we want you guys to say if it's a deal breaker or not. Okay?
Or if
Go
you let
ahead.
it
I like
slide.
this.
Or
Yeah,
if you're
it's
going to
It's
let
either
it
a
slide.
deal breaker or you'll let it slide. Okay?
I like this a lot.
Deal breaker or let it slide.
Here we go. And
Yeah.
these are just, I'm going to say it, you're going to answer, and we're going to move
these
on.
Go ahead.
Let's just
Ready?
do deal breaker or let it slide.
Deal breaker or let it slide. If you knew she hasn't washed her sheets in months.
That's just.
Deal breaker.
Ew.
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker.
Mom, that's disgusting.
If you knew she had a 4-drink minimum on any night out.
Deal breaker.
Let it slide.
Deal breaker.
Let it slide.
Wow.
If you knew she sleeps with her childhood teddy bear every night.
Let it slide.
Let it slide.
Honestly, green flag.
Let it slide, yeah.
I got a dolly. I got my dolly back.
If you knew-
I'll
I knew
admit
it.
it. I'll admit it. I'm sorry.
Every
got
night
it. It's
she
my
sleeps with her
child
doll.
No
I know.
shame. There's no
Okay.
shame.
If you knew she can't stand sports and won't watch sports with you.
Let it slide.
Oh,
Really?
love that. Okay.
Yeah.
What about if she has like a streak or is going back and forth with an ex on Snapchat?
Deal breaker.
Oh,
my!
1,000,000%
In
deal
a
breaker.
heartbeat, deal
God.
breaker.
Okay. If you knew that she has only slept with one guy before you.
Let it slide.
Let it slide. It's great.
Okay. If you knew her last relationship ended because she was the one that cheated.
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker.
1,000,000 times deal breaker.
Okay. Very interesting. If you knew that she had absolutely no cooking skills and she orders takeout every single night.
Let it slide.
Let it slide.
You'll cook for her?
I can, but that's a myth.
If she tries, you know what I mean? If she at least
if she tries her best,
tries.
if she does
Yeah,
if she puts in
That's
effort
different.
for it.
Okay.
That's all.
That's different.
Let's dive into some rapid fire lukewarm takes. These are burning questions that we got from our
We've gone
from
a
our
bunch.
listeners. Okay. So we need you to keep your answers short, just bite-sized lukewarm takes. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Go ahead.
Let's dive into it. Ghosting someone, acceptable or not?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. It's acceptable.
Wait,
But
absolutely,
it's
absolutely not?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'll let you say why it's not acceptable.
Absolutely not. I think you should, grow a pair, break up with them, have a conversation. It's not that
be
hard.
honest.
Cam,
You know what I mean? It's not that hard.
And yes, and listen, I understand where they come from, but I think it depends on how long you've been together, how serious the relationship was. And I think if it was a situationship or you guys were dating for like a month,
nope.
I don't necessarily know if you owe them all of that. Personally.
Cam,
I can explain more, but I don't want to go too far.
Okay. Vaping, deal breaker or no big deal?
Deal breaker for me. Because I don't smoke, so it's just a deal breaker for me.
Not a deal breaker,
Like
but
in
it
general,
could be if
no
it continues
smoking at all.
No,
Got it.
So I don't like it.
Texting first after a first date. Is it to turn off or a good sign?
I think it's absolutely a turn on. I think every girl, if a
like
guy
that.
takes you out and plans an evening with you, I think absolutely you should thank him after and be the first one to text.
I agree.
Okay, so
couldn't
that
say
makes
that.
me feel better because I'm the type of girl that would be like, thank you so much for taking me out. Like, I had a great time.
Yeah.
You should.
That's huge.
As you should.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But some girls don't do that. They'd rather have the guy text and be like, did you have a good time? Or was that fun? Or blah, blah, blah. But
If I take
I'm a
you out-
straightforward girl.
Yeah, if I take you out and you don't say like at any point thank you, if I like cover the whole
That's a
night
red
and I
flag.
like pick you up to do everything, that's absolutely a red flag. I
Biggest
will
red
not
flag.
take you out on a second date.
Got it.
Okay.
Asking
Good to
about
know.
his dating history. Good idea or best to avoid it?
Best to
avoid it. I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't want
If
to.
it's me, if I'm dating you,
I told you this,
You're gonna
Mom.
figure it
if
out.
So
through my eyes,
interesting.
I'm acting like I'm the first male you've ever met. That's
Yeah,
how.
Thank
You-
you.
I
and thank you,
disagree.
because we are completely different, and I get advice from her, and it is just not what
I
I
just
think
like
it
to
is,
know
so it makes me
everything.
feel so.
I'll tell you why. Let me just.
But it's not better to know everything
I
sometimes.
understand,
No.
but I
I
never
agree.
want to walk into a room and have people know things I don't. I'm just saying that.
That's very fair.
Fair.
It's
fair,
very different, though.
Hold on.
Very
Go
fair.
ahead.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to have people know things that I don't know, but at the same time, I do, because if I know, maybe they have changed.
Right.
Maybe they made mistakes in their past.
But even
if I
it's not a
know-
mistake, what if you walk into a bar and there's a bunch of exes there and they know their relationship with her and you don't even know who they are and never heard about them because you don't want to know anything? Wouldn't you
Then
feel
you talk
better?
about it after that
Yeah,
night. And
I
you
was about to say,
get closer.
I promise you, if there are exes in there, you'll find out very quickly.
Yes.
A lot of the time.
And then that's when you could bring it up and be like, okay,
Yeah.
like this is how I felt tonight, and then maybe that brings you even closer, or if not, then that's the wrong person for you.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a
All
very
right.
good way to put it.
All right.
So, oh my god, that makes me feel so much
Okay.
better.
He's still wearing all the clothes his ex gave him. Thoughts on that?
Whoa.
I think this is more of a girl thing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times girls are
it's
wearing
not.
old like boyfriends
It's not.
hoodies
No.
and stuff.
No,
it's not.
I think it's gross. I don't
If your
do it.
if your
Get
ex
rid of
gave
it.
you a bunch of clothes, are you still wearing it all the time with your new girl?
No, you're getting rid of it.
No.
If I'm hanging out with my girlfriend and she walks out in another man's hoodie, I'm walking out the door and I'm never turning back.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
never speak to her again.
And that's
So
the other thing.
yeah, that's
it's
the whole thing.
obvious if it's a
But my
fucking guy's
question
hoodie.
is, how
Like,
does somebody know that it's like a piece of clothing that your ex
They
gave
don't.
you?
it's
You
typically
know.
pretty obvious.
You know.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't know. It's something. It's like intuition almost.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
Fine.
just do not do it.
Got it.
Okay. Okay, I got tougher ones, and these came from more of our listeners, and I have a few opinions on these, so I might just speak about them. But okay, if
Go
he
ahead.
only wants to hang at like your place and not his, is that a red flag?
Not necessarily.
I think if he explains why.
Yeah, if he explains
It's not a
why,
red
that's a
flag.
very good way to
If
put
he's
it.
like, hey, I live in a room with 4 guys, you know what I mean? I'm roommates
Very
with 3 other
valid.
guys or whatever. I think it's very valid.
Okay.
Okay. What about, this is a very controversial one. Do long distance relationships work, or can they not?
No, they don't. No, they don't. I completely.
I think they do.
No, you don't.
Cam,
I
I
think
agree
do
with
not.
you.
You never said anything.
They do if they want them
this
to.
This is what I'll say. I think they work, but in a very unique set of circumstances. I don't think long distance in college works. I'm sorry. I don't think it works. I think it's just you guys are both way too young. You're both in crazy environments. You're going out all the time. You know, people are making dumb decisions. That environment doesn't work. I think like post grad, you know what I mean, where it's like you're both settled down, no one's really partying like that anymore, and you can have a healthy relationship. I think it's possible, but college, no. So I think that's the caveat I was saying.
I would agree. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
If a girl, and I've seen this before from you guys, if a girl is ordering a beer at the bar, what is the impression that it gives?
I don't like
I hate beer
I will
personally.
admit it right now. I am a Corona girl. I love a Corona with a lime.
No. A Corona is the one exception to the beers.
No, this is
Don't
what it,
give
this
me
is.
a Coors Light. Don't
No,
give me a
because,
Bud Light,
yeah.
but give me a Corona, and
This
I'm
is
good.
the
You're
difference.
ordering, like an IPA. I don't
No,
trust
this
you.
is the difference. This is what I'll tell you. If you want to order a beer, that's perfectly fine. If you make it known that you're ordering a
That
beer,
you're ordering a beer.
then
You
I
make
don't
it
like it.
obvious.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ella ordering a Corona with a lime is not a turnoff to you.
No,
That's
absolutely
fine.
not. Corona,
Well, it
that's what
depends.
I fully believe.
Okay.
Corona is the one
Especially
exception.
from
that you do.
experience, and like I don't know if you guys know, and I won't go into it, but like I had been drugged before, so like I don't like ordering open drinks at the bar because it scares
Yeah.
me. So having like
Sure.
a bottle of Corona where I can put my thumb on it, like just makes me feel safer in that environment.
Sure, 100%.
Absolutely.
What about if your boyfriend is getting blackout drunk every single week? Is that a problem?
I hate it.
Yeah, that's a
hate it so
problem.
much.
That's
It's a problem.
Like waking up and not remembering what happened. Like
Yeah,
it's a
That
problem.
means you're
Nah.
running from a problem that you clearly do not want to face,
Yeah.
and you're not handling it in a healthy
Yourself.
way.
Can everyone say,
Any
I'm
kind
right.
of substance abuse.
I'm right. Terry
Yeah,
Cow.
mom. Okay,
Thank you.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Waiting to respond to a text. If you guys
I
wait, like,
think that is
2
the
hours-
dumbest thing in
So if you're
society
waiting
today.
2 hours and I get the response, like, should I wait 2 hours or should I just respond right
No,
away?
I'm texting you
No.
as soon as I see your message. That is when I'm
Okay.
responding. Why am I waiting?
I saw such a funny video.
People
that the second
game.
the message pops up.
People
I
play
think
a
it's
big
so
game.
exciting.
They like
If-
that.
If you play that, I'm just not going to respond to you. I'm just
Yeah,
going to
I
be like,
agree.
all right, I don't have time for this.
No,
I don't have time
no.
to have a 3-sentence conversation over 8 hours. I
Yeah,
can't do that.
completely agree.
Great. I agree
Okay.
100%.
I appreciate that. I think that's very true. And I'm going to say this one, and then I'm going to say something else, and then you can answer. So I have to say it really quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is it ever okay to give a cheating guy a second chance? And I will just say from my perspective, and you can totally go against it, for any girls that are listening, from my experience, if somebody cheats on you, they are a piece of shit. They do not respect you, and you deserve better, and you should do better than that.
And now you get to answer.
Cam and I
experience, but you can
have
answer
the
that.
exact same thought process on this.
What you can go and then
I want to
know-
hear
you
it.
know
I
what
want
we
like
say.
be completely honest.
What
'cause
I've
maybe I
always
don't have
said
your
is this. I don't believe in once a cheater, always a cheater.
I knew this is. Yep.
What I do believe in is the once someone cheats in a relationship, that relationship is done.
Oh my God. So I say the same thing.
Can they cheat
Oh.
and then in their next relationship they could get married to that next person? Absolutely. But I think once you have that in a relationship, I
It's
think
over.
once you open those
You can't
floodgates,
go
I
through-
don't think it's ever going to stop, and I just don't think you should.
Once a cheater. What we always say is once a cheater in a relationship, always a cheater in that
in a
relationship.
relationship.
Yep,
Yep.
Yeah.
exactly.
I like that
Yep.
a lot.
Yep.
Okay. What about 3 red flags that a girl should look out for?
3 red flags a girl should look out for in a guy.
The guys do.
You're going to laugh at this one. If he only uses Snapchat.
Yep.
If he... agree.
Shit,
They're a big
Mom,
Snapchat
shit.
guy. No.
Hold on, I see what's going on.
Just so you know,
What's that?
Kim, I just said that this morning.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Obviously, 99% rule, which I will say,
Shit.
Nino does fall into the 1% because, like, obviously he doesn't
Not
like
always.
he
Not
doesn't
always.
like giving
I'll
it.
admit that.
He doesn't like giving his number out, and like that's very fair.
That's understandable though.
But
No.
99% of the time, it's just you're dude. You're a bad guy. You're a bad guy.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's one big red flag.
I got one that
Good.
immediately. We've talked about this earlier in the podcast. If they are secretive about their phone, like if they're very like private with their phone, if they immediately turn it off, if you look in their direction, stuff like that is showing you that there's something on that phone they don't want you to see.
Yes. Okay.
Last big red flag for guys. This is kind of goes hand in hand for girls and guys. I don't like the idea of like girl best friends. I don't like girl best friends.
Girl best friends.
I don't like it at all, mostly because I don't want my girlfriend having guy best friends. I'm sorry, and I know that's a hot take, but in my opinion, I don't like it. I think you can have guy acquaintances. You can have, you know what I mean? You can have girl acquaintances where you know them, you say hi at the bar or whatever. You should not have like girl best friends.
So what about if there's long-term guy friendships?
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. That
you knew them before you met your current boyfriend.
Or that change. Your relationship changes. I have guy friends, but now that I have a husband, those relationships have stayed, but now they've become couple friends, or our relationship with those guy friends changes. That's acceptable, of course. But if I'm talking every night to my guy best friend while I have a husband, that's a little off.
That's what I was saying, where it's like you can have a guy acquaintance, but you can't have a guy best friend. Or you can have a girl acquaintance. It changes the type of friendship.
Yes. You don't not have them in your life anymore.
I'm so 50-50 with that. I'm so 50-50 with that.
And I think that's perfectly fair, but I think that's something you should talk about in your own relationship.
In my relationship,
if that's a problem for you, you know what I mean? If that's a problem for you, make it clear.
I've just heard this line a lot from my girlfriends after like being broken up with, but like, do you believe that the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else?
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can do that. You're going to self-destruct in 3 months. Go ahead.
All right, well, let me just jump in really quick and just say, like, speaking for girls here and, like, personally me, like, sometimes it feels like we're expected to spot every single red flag that goes on. But, like, we should be, like, knowing when somebody's lying or being shady. But, like, if I'm being real, from my perspective, we are just loving, like, unconditionally. We just want to love the person that we're with, like, no matter what. And we're not out there scanning for, like, the potholes or, like, what's going wrong. And we're just, like, along for the ride. So what are we supposed to do in that situation?
I think it's being love blind. And I hate to say it,
because I was love blind. I was completely love blind.
Guys, if they're really head over heels for somebody, will be love blind and they'll ignore all the red flags. And I'm a beautiful testament to that. Cam, I won't speak for you.
Yeah, I know. I am too.
And so I think it's very difficult when you're in a situation where you do maybe consciously or unconsciously look over the red flags, but understand that eventually they're going to come up and you're going to have to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
and so just try and always, even if you have your shaders on, make sure you know that you are probably overlooking basic details.
What I will say is you shouldn't.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Cam.
Okay. What I will say is you should never apologize for loving unconditionally. I think that's the best trait a human can have. And I think the biggest thing I'll say is the biggest thing about love is that you're going to go down the road and sometimes you are going to be blind and you're going to realize like people are probably going to screw you over at some point. That's just what's going to happen. But that's all about the journey because that shows you that it's like, okay, that person wasn't for you. And eventually you're going to find somebody that appreciates how you love. And it's never going to be a question and they're never going to treat you in a disrespectful way.
Yeah. And for me, I just want to say about red flags, because that's what chasing red flags is all about. We all have them, right? We all have red flags. And nobody is perfect. Neither of you. I'm certainly far from perfect.
I'm certainly.
So I think it's important that people that are looking for this perfect person, it doesn't exist, and that's what you're looking for, you're going to have trouble. So that concludes today's therapy session. But before,
wait, I want to keep going. This isn't.
Hold on. Before we let you go, I've heard that you guys have some red flag deal breakers. I've heard you say a snap score over 1 million. I've heard you say a baby voice. Those are some of your red flags. So if each of you had to pick one red flag in someone else, what would it be?
Cam, you're going to have to go first, dude. I got to think about this. Actually, no, I immediately know off the bat. Bad personal hygiene.
Interesting.
Great.
Bad personal hygiene above anything else.
What if
you
they
cannot
don't
take
know?
care, you will know. If you smell bad, you smell bad.
I'm not saying.
If your teeth are yellow, you know your teeth are yellow. You have bad breath, you know you have bad breath.
Yeah, I'm with you.
These are all things. Listen, I was just thinking about this morning. I don't care if you have a perfectly straight smile and all your teeth are, if you have yellow teeth or rotting teeth, that's on you. It's not that hard to brush your teeth every day. It's not that hard to shower and put on deodorant. If you can't take care of yourself, why would you expect me to do the same for you?
That's fair.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay, red flag. Cam?
I'll say for me, it's a little different. For me, it's if you tell little lies early in the relationship. If it's little stuff, that it's like so insignificant that
Doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? It's it's like, hey, I'm gonna go, I'm going, this place at 11 o'clock, and like really, you went somewhere else first, or like whatever. The smallest little lies.
You're speaking my language.
If it's insignificant, no matter how insignificant it may sound, if I see that and I catch that at the beginning of the relationship, I know that's just going to snowball in the future. And if they lie about the little things, they're going to lie about the big things.
And there you go. My favorite thing to say, Cam. Say it one more time. If you lie about the little things, you lie about the big things.
Lie about the big things.
That's all it is.
My favorite line. Okay.
Wow.
And what would you say is your own biggest red flag in yourself?
We talk about this a lot. I would say my biggest thing is I am very possessive in a sense. I've always said I'm very traditional in terms of relationship, and like I am gonna like do so many things for you, but I also expect like a lot of respect in return, and like what I mean, like I'm very traditional in that sense, in a very like, possessive way, where it's like I don't, what I mean, it's like. And I think in today's society, that's kind of like frowned upon, because like with the situationships and everything, like, it's like, it's almost normal for like girls, like if like your girlfriend like go up to like random guys and like give them the biggest hugs, and, like, oh my God, you look so good, and like complimenting other guys and stuff. Like, it's like normal. And like, I don't like that. And I've never been about that.
Yeah, but you're going to be open about that in your relationship, so that you know that about yourself.
As long as you're honest and open with the person that you end up being with, then I feel like that's okay. But I can see from a different perspective that could be a red flag.
Oh, of course. And I've always said that. And I have like no shame in it. And I know eventually I'll find a girl that, respects that.
Yeah, she'll probably love it.
Yeah. Very well put, Cameron. For me, it's more so of the fact that I think my red flag right now is that I'm not mentally mature enough. I'm not mature enough in general to be in a relationship, but sometimes I don't always make that apparent, and I'm not vocal enough about it. And then I'm too afraid to hurt somebody if I do end up moving too far.
Right.
And that's a dangerous thing that that's a trap that I've fallen into too many times, and now I'm starting to become wise to it.
So as a mom, I'm going to tell you, but just by you saying that means that you're mature enough to know that about you.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed.
There you go.
So there you go.
Good thing.
Okay.
Guys, this was fun.
Maybe we've done some growth over the past hour and a half.
I feel like we've grown up,
more
right?
about yourself.
Maybe.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
This was a blast.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. It has been so much fun. And if you ever need a Terry Talk or you need a girl's perspective on anything, you guys know where to find us. And I will say we need that from a boy's perspective too. So we appreciate it. And I might even text you about a few things that we didn't get to cover. But before we wrap up, I just want to tell everybody here, you can find Lukewarm Takes on Instagram and TikTok at LukewarmTakes_ on TikTok and Instagram. So wherever you want to find them, they're on socials. And we will have all your info in the show notes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube.
That's a wrap on today's episode. We hope you laughed and enjoyed it as much as we did, and I hope you learned as much as we did. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back next time with another incredible guest.
In the meantime, keep being real, keep being you,
and know that we've got your back.
If you have any thoughts, questions, or just want to say hi, we would love to hear from you. Your support means everything to us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Chasing Red Flags Official, and on Facebook and YouTube at Chasing Red Flags. And if you want to share your story, ask a question, or pick up some Chasing Red Flags merch, go to chasingredflags.com. The Chasing Red Flags podcast is produced by Jay Del Turco. We are new in this space, so if you enjoyed what you're hearing, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or add a comment and like on our YouTube channel.